Peppers. Peppers, peppers, peppers everywhere. In the garden, in our house. I even have another bucket here of cayennes. I have an entire pile of these cayennes in the front pantry on a towel in the floor, just drying. So many peppers. But today's project, we're gonna make roasted red peppers. If you've ever bought roasted red peppers in the store, they usually come in a jar and they're packed in oil, usually some sort of sunflower or safflower oil. And they are delicious on sandwiches, in like pasta salads, or even to make roasted red pepper hummus. So I am feeling blessed because we have a ton of these gorgeous red peppers. We're gonna roast them today, and we're gonna do a couple of things with them. I'm gonna show you a couple of different ways to use them that make it just easy and delicious, but also how to freeze them so you can have them in many months later on. Because when you eat seasonally, you don't have fresh, beautiful peppers all year long. And eating seasonally is important because it really means that you're eating the most fresh local produce that's available to you, whether you're growing it or your local farmer is. So let's get these puppies roasted. I'm going to start with turning my broiler on, putting my broiler on high, and I'm gonna get my Pyrex 9x, I always forget, 13, 11, 13, my 9x13 glass dish, and we're gonna get our peppers in here. The house is a bit of a wreck, but from now on, this is probably how my videos are gonna go because this is real life. We're not staging anything. So all I'm doing is putting my red peppers in my dish. How easy is that? These are still green. They're starting to turn a little bit, but they are not quite ready, so we'll leave those. And so what you can do if you wanted to is kind of slice them open and take out the core. I actually find this process fairly easy, just leaving them as is, and sometimes it makes peeling the skin off even easier. By the way, did y'all know we had a cat? Oh, there she goes. Her name's Lucy. Lucy. So we have Marley, as anyone who's been following the channel knows. We have our big yellow lab Marley. He's like 90 pounds. This is Lucy. She's older. We got her just a couple of months after we got married. She's a rescue. So we've had her 13 years now, and Marley is 4. And so when we brought Marley home, Lucy wanted nothing to do with him. She still wants nothing to do with him. However, we had her food upstairs because when we were just like introducing the animals, we wanted her to be able to get to her food and water. And then over the last couple of months, Marley has started eating her food and drinking her water, despite my many attempts to get him to stop. So now her food is on that desk, and so she has to jump on that little chair and get up there. And so because of that, she is now down in the house so much more visible. I should have done this years ago. And I think she actually wants to go outside. You want to go outside? False alarm. I stepped on something and it scared her. But now she's down here so much more often, and there's been some instances where her and Marley are like in the same room together. He is terrified of her, by the way. She's never hurt him. He's never hurt her. He just wants to play. But she absolutely rules the roast. All right, enough with the animals. We're gonna get these under the broiler. And so what we're looking for is to actually kind of char the skin. And so I'll take my tongs, I'll check it in maybe 5-ish to 7 minutes. And for any of the peppers that already have that really black kind of char on the skin, I will then turn. The goal is to get the entire pepper charred. What that does is not only add flavor and softens the flesh of the pepper, but it really helps release the flesh from the skin so you can take the skin off. Where's that kitty? Been a few minutes now, let's check. Yeah, you can see they're not all totally charred. This one's pretty good. So I'm just gonna turn a couple, but the goal is to get all sides kind of looking like that. Depending how many peppers you have and how big they are, right, it could take up to 20-25 minutes total, but I'm just gonna keep checking every few minutes while I'm in here cleaning up the kitchen, and we'll check them and get them turned as necessary. A minute. Okay, I think these are done. They've been in for about 20 minutes and they are beautifully charred on all sides. So I turn the boiler off, and now what we're gonna do is just leave these to cool, but it's really important that you, oh, can you get me another more of this? It's important that you cover it up because the steam is going to help release any of those tough spots with the skin. You don't want that steam to escape. Perfect. So you could use some sort of plastic wrap. I'm just going to use aluminum foil. And carefully, because it's going to be hot, cover it. So the steam stays in, and we're going to leave it like this for about 20 to 30 minutes. You just want the steam to stay in, do its thing, but also for it to be cool enough to handle. So I am gonna go take her to a birthday party, and then we'll come back and check this, and it should be cool enough for us to work with. All right, it has been about an hour. It is time to take the skins off, de-seed our roasted red peppers, and then I'm gonna show you one of my favorite things to do with it. So you can see they've kind of flattened and deflated. Just take a pepper, start breaking the skin, and it should peel right off. Nice and warm. And then what I like to do is just kind of open it, and you'll see the seeds, and I just kind of scrape the seeds out. And then I place my roasted red pepper just kind of on a plate, and I go through the process. I don't actually take the stem or the core out until I try to get all the skin off first, if I can help it. And then once the skin is off, you can kind of open it up, and there's the core. And that just kind of peels right off. I love having these in the freezer because in the dead of winter, it just adds such great flavor to foods. And being able to preserve the peppers in this way during the late summer, early fall months when peppers are truly at their peak, you just save so much money too. Like, roasted red peppers are not cheap to purchase. I mean, let's face it, in today's world, nothing is cheap to purchase. And so by taking the extra step to either grow your own peppers or to get them from a local farmer or a friend who's just overloaded themselves, you are saving yourself some money, and depending upon how you are in the kitchen, maybe just kind of trying something new, right? Maybe roasted red peppers isn't something that you normally purchase and work with. This is just a really great opportunity to try a new ingredient. Most of these peppers are a Jaworski brand. This is, or not brand, variety. I get the seeds from Baker Creek. but it's AJVARSKI, I believe. These are the type of red and green, right? They start out green, sweet pepper that I prefer to grow. I just find that they are prolific, they are relatively easy to grow, and they are, compared probably to other bell varieties, I think they don't have as many seeds either, which makes an application like this perfect. All right, it is now time to show you one of my favorite sandwiches. I don't eat sandwiches a lot just because it's not really my thing, but this one holds a special place in my heart. So when I was in college, I don't think it was in high school, but definitely in college during summer break, maybe a little bit in high school, I worked at a cafe, and it was like a kind of a lunch spot, but they did have, I think they were open for dinner too, but they had like a whole case full of prepared foods, from pasta salads, potato salads, green salads, and then they had full-blown meals that you could actually, on your way home from work, come in, purchase, and take it home. It was cold, and you go home and you cook it. And I learned so much from that experience. It was called Susan's Gourmet Shop and Catering, and it was in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, because I grew up in the Lehigh Valley area of Pennsylvania, and I worked there for at least possibly 5 years. And again, it just, such an experience. I learned so much. And so I worked behind the counter, dishing out what people wanted to take home in their to-go containers, or making their food right then and there from the prepared foods, their plate, to then give to them to eat in the cafe. And this sandwich is my favorite still today. It is called, well, what they called it, the turkey stack. And so I'm gonna show you how to make that. I want you to try it. It's so good. So fairly simple. I'm gonna start with 2 pieces of wheat sourdough bread. Obviously use the bread you prefer. I just made this bread yesterday morning and sliced it. So this is what I'm going to start with. All right, on the bread, we are going to do an herbed mayo. This again is a homemade mayo. This is the Homesteading Family's recipe for fermented mayo. Also absolutely delicious. And I added in some dill, oregano, there is onion powder, a whole clove of garlic, a little bit of lemon juice, little Dijon. It's just an all around delicious mayonnaise. And I'd recommend that if you haven't ventured into making your own mayo yet, you are going to want to do it. We don't even buy it anymore. It's so good. All right, I will put just a little more dill on my sandwich. You could use fresh dill if you have it. I'm just using dried. This is oven roasted turkey breast. You could use chicken, smoked turkey, whatever you prefer. And this is a homemade Havarti cheese. It's the last I have of that. Now in the cafe, we would use dill Havarti for this sandwich. And I don't have any dill Havarti. I have made it before, but it's gone. I actually need to make that again, but I'm gonna use this. This is just a regular Havarti that I had made, I think, last year. And we've just been using it for a variety of things around, but this is the last little bit, so I'm gonna slice this and use it. But if you're purchasing cheese, dill Havarti would be the one you wanna get. Okay, then we put sprouts on. I just purchased these sprouts this morning from our local farmer's market. Now, sprouts is something that is so easy to do at home, and I can absolutely share that process someday. I don't do it often enough. I really, really need to. Now, in the cafe, we used alfalfa sprouts, but get creative, get a little bit more nutritious with your sprouts. These are radish. broccoli sprouts, sunflower sprouts are all delicious as well. Okay, now we're going to put on a roasted red pepper. So we put the roasted red pepper on top of the sprouts, and it just kind of creates a really good texture when you bite into it between the two. How delicious does that look? It's gonna bring back so many memories. It's 1:45 in the afternoon and I haven't yet eaten today. This is my first bite of food just because I've been running around. So worth it. It's gonna be very simple. Normally, I actually vacuum seal these, but our vacuum sealer I think is kaput. After about 13 years, it finally broke. So I'm just gonna be using a freezer safe Ziploc bag. Now, I only try to put in what I think I'll use in about a week's worth of time, right? I don't wanna overload my bag so much that when I thaw it, I'm not actually using all of the peppers at the, within 5 to 7 days. Now, granted, this isn't very many, so I'm probably gonna do all of these and just save maybe one more sandwich's worth for this week. And so that's what I will freeze. So I'm just gonna very simply and rudimentarily take as much air out as I can from the bag. Did label the bag because you always think you're gonna know what it is in the freezer, but inevitably 9 months from now, you may not, unless that's just me. But that's it. These will go in the freezer. I already have like 3 or 4 bags of these in the freezer from this gardening season. I'm hoping to get a few more. And if you wanted to make roasted red pepper hummus, right? You make your hummus like you normally would. And then you just add some roasted red peppers to get to the desired flavor, color, texture. Delicious. Another project checked and done off the to-do list. Thanks for joining me today. Stay happy, stay healthy. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.